Ladies and gentlemen, you see it on the screen. KOT's back. I don't got much to say, man. I got all my dogs with me here in the building, man. As y'all know me, John. Maybe last time y'all know me, I was Clutch Talk, but it's Lakers Corner now, so I'm here. Nice to see all y'all. But we got my boy Gabe in the building. My boy Gabe, how you doing, brother?
Hey, it's good to be back. It's good to be back for sure. Definitely don't want to leave out. We do got two other guys rejoining us with Steph. Can't make it today. Devin also can't make it today. Trill Buckets and run the NBA. They'll be back soon too. But five of us here holding it down tonight. So ready to get started.
Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. And to his left, we got the one and only my dog, Garrett. How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good. I mean, I think if you asked us this maybe a year and a half ago or a year ago, we probably thought this would never come back to be, but here we are and got a bunch of us back here and ready to talk some more hoops.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And on the bottom two, we got two of the real ones, man. First, we got New York's finest, man. We got my dog Jay in the building. My dog, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great. It's nice that the NBA YouTube Avengers has reassembled, man. Let's go ahead and take out Thanos that is this NBA season. And I want all of us to make one promise or at least effort to let's get through all 82 games. We don't got to worry about next year or anything after that. Let's just get to 82. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great, my brother.
I love that. I love that, brother. And last but not least, holding it down for Minnesota is you think it only snows over there. But you know what? We got my dog JELSON in the building. JELSON, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. It certainly feels outside like it's about to snow pretty soon, but we're chilling. That's what when we smell that air, when we see the snow, we know basketball's back, and that's what we love to see, man. It's great to be back. Great to talk hoops again with the fellas. Hey, we back.
Yes, sir, man. We back. And just like how
Yeah, I
Gabe
love
said,
the snow.
hey, I love the snow, but I've never been to the snow, so I love it in its distance. So, but like how Gabe said, man, don't want to forget that we do have two other members, our boy Devin and our boy Trill, and they'll get here, when they can. It's kind of hard to coordinate 7 grown man schedules, y'all. So just keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into it. We got a lot to get into. I think we should start with opening night. We had 2 great games. We had OKC and the Rockets. OKC won 125-124 in double overtime, and then we also had the Lakers and the Warriors, where the Warriors put the belt to the ass on everybody on the Lakers except Luka. Luka was the only one not getting belt to ass. And the Warriors won 119-109. So JELSON, I went last with you on the intro, so we're going first with you here, JELSON. So, JELSON, I want you to let us know where do you want to start? You want to start with the OKC game, or do you want to start with that Warriors and Lakers game?
I don't know. I got a lot to say about both these games, but I think it's only fitting to start with the Lakers Warriors game, right? I mean, we got a Lakers fan here, you know what I'm saying? So I think we got to start here. I think I'll say what everybody's thinking here, right? And I could be off with these numbers or whatever. Didn't Luka have 42? Something like that?
He had 43.
43?
Yep,
and they lost.
By 10.
You tell any Lakers fan coming to this season, skinny Luka's back, 43 piece on opening night, and an L? No, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'll pass it off to Jay, but like that's crazy to me.
Hey, Laker fans, where y'all at? Y'all was gassing up Skinny Luka, man. What the hell? I said Skinny Luka was on the Olympics. He gonna come back this season, right? Don't worry about LeBron. It not look that simple. DeAndre Ayton, I see why the Trailblazers literally paid you to get out the building. You do not belong on the basketball court anymore. Marcus Smart, you're trying out there just a little bit too hard. Luka Doncic is still him. Let's not get that misconstrued. Rui Hachimura, I think Rui Hachimura, who he is right now, is pretty much who he's going to be. For Austin Reeves, I really like Austin Reeves and the type of player he is, but just not on this team. I mean, I feel like he can't reach his ceiling playing alongside Luka, and eventually LeBron's going to come back. And I don't see the Lakers being anything close to being in title contention talks. I mean, am I wrong?
No. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not. Current roster construction, no, you're not wrong. But Garrett, go ahead. Talk to us if you want to continue to stay on that Lakers and Warriors game.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much to add. Kind of like what Jay was saying, like this, I don't see the Lakers as really a title contender. The Warriors, I guess, have been a little bit more impressive. I know Gabe's probably over there smirking because of his boy Curry. But, I mean, just, neither of these two teams, to me, coming into the season, did I have, like, much hope in? I think so far I'm liking a little bit more what I see at a Golden State. But, the Lakers, obviously, like, LeBron's not there. And I know, like, John, that's your guy. So, of course, that's going to, like, play a big factor in how you see this team. But they just don't really have many bigs. I don't like their depth. It's just not going to be a successful formula for them. And I'm not even high on their coach that some of you guys actually are.
Yeah, with LA, I don't want to judge them too early. Obviously, it's weird to call, but their second best player is actively not on the court. And, with some new pieces and trying to gel that, definitely going to be a work in progress there. But, I think we should give them some more time for sure, especially coming into the season at not full strength. There is some legwork to be done there. But Golden State's been very impressive, man. I think losing to them on opening night, not great. But, I mean, as far as looking at what Golden State was able to do in their second game as well, that team looks really good. I think, of course, these old dudes, they keep coming in, they keep getting it done. Al Horford didn't look good in game one, but game two, he really turned it up. Jimmy looked really good game one. Steph more so took over in game two. Even all the way down to like later in the roster with, Kuminga. They had that whole thing over the summer. I thought that was going to come in, kind of ruin the chemistry, make things weird. But I thought he came in really strong, really bought into the system. And whether it leads to him being a long-term player for them or whether this is just to get his trade value up, I think either way, it will fare well for the organization in the long run. And then even with I might get his name wrong, their rookie, I think Will Richard is his name. Last night in that game, he was impressive, man. I mean, not all the shots were falling, but just the way that he was able to integrate into that offense so quickly and potentially become a rotation player for them. I think over the course of 82 games, he's definitely a guy to keep an eye on too. Not to mention, probably be adding Seth Curry back here in about mid-November. I know he had the waiver situation, which was mainly tied up in financials. So I think they have a lot of good things going on. I think the offense looks good. I think it looks balanced, and they're still maintaining a way to figure out that defense. So I'm high on them.
Hey, John, before you go, Gabe, I got a question. Considering you're the Warriors fan, do you think Kuminga is going to look this good all year? Are you going to look this bought into what the Warriors want to do?
I think it's a little bit too early to tell. I think we don't know the full extent of, what their offseason conversations were. The structure of his deal being more so like the 1+1 with the team option. I feel like there's a good chance it is like an effort to get him traded to a team that's going to give him that sort of extension or pick up the option or whatever it may be there. But even if it ends up being with the Warriors, I think that, at this point, at least until the trade deadline, I think there's a high chance that he would be bought in because he wants to get that value up. Obviously, like the restricted free agent market wasn't great. But, either way, he's going to be a guy who's going to be trying to get a contract again in the not so distant future. And especially if he starts to tail off this season, I mean, they decline that team option and all of a sudden, what's he looking at? Not a whole lot. So I think he's in a situation where he does need to be bought in, and seems like so far he's really doing that. Yeah,
no, I absolutely agree, man. And man, I just want to say I'm happy keyofthrees is back, man. I loved hearing like is everybody's perspective, on different teams and different expertise or areas of expertise. So just happy to have everybody back. But just real quick, want to give a huge shout out here to Megan Langford. I believe that's her
my
name.
Girl. That's my girl.
Shout out Megan.
I didn't
my
know.
Biggest fan.
There you go. Appreciate you, Megan. All right.
She boycotting Garrett's channel until I win a tournament. So if y'all want to slide some Terry Rozier money my way, then you can make some things happen.
That is hilarious, brother. Okay, well, look, I'll be quick on the Lakers and Warriors so we can get to this Rockets game, or if y'all want to talk about the Spurs. I know Wemby's a hot talking point this week, but look, on the Lakers and Warriors side of things, man, we hyped up Luka, and I think Luka delivered. He had 43 points. He had 12. I believe he had 12 rebounds, 9 assists, or the other way around. Essentially, almost had a triple double on opening night, and everybody else just let down so dramatically. Like Austin Reeves, he had 26, but don't let the numbers fool you. If you watch that game, he was extremely inconsistent. He had a scoring spurt at the end of the first quarter. He had a scoring spurt at the end of the second quarter, and then he had a scoring spurt in the fourth quarter. Whenever we needed him, like he kind of really wasn't there. And the rest of the team, after Austin Reeves is 26, it was Aiden who had 10 points and 6 rebounds. This guy is supposed to come into our team and help clean the glass and rim run and help protect the rim. Didn't really do that. Now, I'm not freaking out over Aiden because I know that I think Aiden's progression is going to come along with Luka's progression. Like as him and Aiden's value on this team is simply, in my opinion, going to be how well can you set that high pick and roll with Luka, roll to the rim with some aggression to where the defense actually has to look at you like a threat and be able to protect the rim and grab rebounds. He wasn't really doing much of that, but I do think he'll definitely come along there.
John, let's be real. Aiden's gonna be door dashing by Monday. You don't gotta worry.
Damn, I was about to say that.
He's not gonna roll all the way to the bucket, man. He's not. You're gonna deal with that.
You're gonna deal with the set pop mid range. That's what you're gonna deal with the entire season. And it's not going to be efficient.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in bad spots when shouldn't be taking that shot. But I also wanted to mention with DeAndre, and we were talking about how much we hate snow. He went somewhere that doesn't have snow. He's not going to be calling off games because he can't get out his driveway. All right? We're not going to see that. We're not going to see that. And I did want to mention, I think Gabe kind of tapped into it earlier with Al Horford for the Warriors. It's like, what do you expect him to give you, right? I mean, on this Warriors team, you expect him to give you, on opening night, of course, you expect him to give you more than 5 points, you know what I'm saying? And even though he didn't, you still win by a 10-piece McNugget. Hey, that's a good look to me. And I'm not super high on the Warriors by any means, and I think Garrett tapped into it as well, where I don't think that the Warriors are championship contenders necessarily. I could see them being like obviously a playoff team. I don't think they're going to be a championship contending team. The West is just too stacked for all that. And then pushing back over to the Lakers side, Austin Reeves, like this has been the story of his whole career, unfortunately. Like he is a spark plug shooter. He's a spark plug player. He's a player like I would say he's probably a better player than like what Jordan Clarkson was, but he's that same type of build, like a guy that can be a guy on a certain night. But if you're expecting consistent scoring in times of need, Austin Reeves really isn't going to be there for you. And we saw that on opening night. I mean, he's going to give you buckets. Are they going to be when you need them? Not always. So I think that's the main thing. If you can get Austin Reeves to, show some level of consistency, we love when he's dropping a, cool 5-7 points in the matter of 2 minutes, right? We don't love it when he goes for 10 minutes without a bucket, without a shot. That's not what we like, and that's not what we're looking to see out of a guy that's trying to be a spark plug for this Lakers team, especially when you don't have Bron playing and you're relying on DeAndre Ayton to be, a tertiary scorer. You need Austin Reeves to be able to get buckets at will, feel free to shoot, especially on those nights. And that we just didn't see that, even though the, 26 points says that, oh, he scored a little bit. Yeah, but he's a negative 14.
There you go. No, there you go, brother. And Jelson, this is the last thing I'll say here on the Lakers. To your point about, him being that spark plug, that's why I am just so mind-boggled at the fact that JJ Redick has him in the starting lineup, because to me it just makes no sense. It's like if you put him on the bench, now he gets to be the Luka Doncic of the bench. He has the ball in his hand. He's creating, right? He's creating play, making plays, getting to the cup himself. He doesn't have to worry about playing off ball, because if we're being honest, if Luka's on the court and Austin Reeves is on the court, I want the ball in Luka's hands every single time.
Exactly.
I don't want Austin Reeves really playing off ball. That's not maximizing his value. Maximizing his value is putting him on the bench, allowing him to be the Luka of the bench unit, and bringing Marcus Smart into the starting lineup to help Luka defensively. Because I know Luka lost weight. I know Luka looks and is lighter on his feet. But at the end of the day, like, you can only do so much in one offseason to go from not the greatest defender to, he's not going to be defensive player of the year defender type stuff. So I think that would be helpful there. But
Hey, John, JJ need to put you on that coaching staff, boy.
man, JJ just need to tune in Lakers Corner. JJ, come on, JJ.
Somebody tell him John's local.
Come on, I'm local. I'll come. I'll move to SoCal. That's like a 7-hour drive. If that's what you want, JJ. But okay, guys. Well, that was great. We know we touched on the Lakers and Warriors. Now I'm gonna go to my boy Garrett over there, man. My boy Garrett. Garrett, talk to me. Do you want to touch on that opening night other game, the double OT, or do you want to go somewhere else? Where you feeling you want to go here, brother?
I mean, we could really go anywhere. I know the other game on opening night was a good one. Like I was saying, I know some of us even were watching it together, that Rockets Thunder game where the Rockets were kind of winning like most of it. But I feel like just in general, I mean, we could kind of, if you want, like just kind of browse around like everyone's first game in the league and what I guess jumped out to us. Just like I guess a couple of things that jumped out to me, and then you guys can piggyback on it or fall off of it and then stuff. But I think just in the first game between the Cavs and the Knicks on Wednesday, that was a pretty important one because those were the two favorites in the Eastern Conference this year. And of course, the Cavs were missing pieces. Maybe the Knicks were missing a couple too, but like the Cavs are definitely missing more. But they just, I mean, it is game one, and I think the same thing could be said about the Rockets against the Thunder. But there's just a kind of a difference with how I saw the Cavs in game one against the Knicks this year, as opposed to like what you saw most of them last year. And actually they said it on the broadcast, Mike Breen saying like the team that was moving fast, like up and down the court, that was the Knicks in game one. And most of last year, that was the Cavs. So I'm sure Darius Garland's going to be a big part of that when he comes back. And of course, like DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus, but that was something that jumped out to me. And then just a couple other things that I'll touch on, and then you guys could pop out. But I think for one, and I know it caught probably everyone off guard, that the biggest blowout pretty much on opening nights involved the Jazz, but the Jazz winning and the Clippers getting whooped. So that was pretty bad. And I think like just looking at the Clippers, I mean, this is a team where I had them as the 4th seed. I had them losing in the second round of the playoffs. But it's not out of the picture for them to be even worse than that. Like this could be one of the biggest failures ever, especially at this point, considering they've already had some very disappointing outcomes in recent years. And this seems like a last grab at trying to win with Kawhi Leonard and Harden on the team and everything. So considering what I saw in that game, I've never been high on Ty Lue. In fact, I call him Ty Lue's for a reason. And I don't know, like that's another thing that just catches me off guard. I don't get why Bradley Beal doesn't really play at all in preseason, and John Collins was playing so well. And then you come out in the first game and you start him alongside Harden and Kawhi. So then you don't really have someone whose best skill is creating his shots for himself, not in his own unit. Whereas someone like John Collins, who, yes, he can still do that, I feel like he just complements that front lineup better. And then one other thing I will say, and then I'll leave it up to you guys. Just from yesterday with the Pacers Thunder game, I know the Pacers lost that. Ben Mathurin looked insane. Pascal Siakam looked great. I just feel like the Pacers aren't getting the credit they deserve for this season. And it's a little bit different from other situations because I feel like the Bucks, they beat the Wizards in opening night. I don't think they're really great, well-rounded team around Giannis. I know they got some decent depth, but I'm still not fully sold in. I'm looking at the Miami Heat. Yeah, like they're probably going to be a middle of the pack team. They'll play hard, but I'm not fully bought into them either. Boston, I know that they played Philly well, but Boston to me seems like an ideal team that's good for this year, or good in general when they have everybody. But I feel like this year they're going to tank, especially if they're in the middle of the pack, near the middle of the year. And so what I see from the Pacers is this is a team who has pride in their team. I feel like that they want to win any game they can, and that's really always been the identity of Indiana basketball. It's why when they say it's just basketball in 49 states, but this is Indiana, like that's part of the culture that's built here. And so what I see from them is a team that's deep with guys like Mathurin and Nesmith and Siakam and Jay Huff and McConnell when he's back and Nembhard. And there's just so many guys that even though they don't have Tyrese Halliburton for the season, I think that there's so many options they can turn to. that they won games last year when Halliburton wasn't scoring a lot, and I don't think it's out of the picture for them to actually be a decent playoff seed. I had them 7th in my predictions, but I think they could be as high as 5th or 6th.
Garrett,
Yeah, I do want to. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
I just want to ask him a real quick question, just based
Okay.
on something that he said. So you had mentioned that the Clippers, like it could be like one of the biggest failures, and I agree with that. But it kind of made me think: would you think if this failed, do you think this would be a bigger failure, or the Brooklyn Nets with KD, James Harden, and Kyrie would be a bigger failure in your opinion?
I think just from it is a good question. I still think that the Brooklyn Nets one is a bigger failure because you had guys who were more closer to their prime. I still think Kawhi is one of the best players in the league when he's fully healthy. I know he wasn't the other day. Like he sucked the other day. I'll say that. But like in general, I trust him and I trust, Harden for the regular season at least. And he'll give you something in the playoffs, but not enough for a championship run. But I do think the Nets is still a bigger disappointment because they didn't even really give it a chance. They only had all 3 of those guys for one playoff run when Kyrie got hurt and then Harden was playing hurt, and then Durant had to go off for a 50 ball. And if his shoe was just a little bit smaller, they probably win that series. I think everyone picks him over Atlanta. And I think a great deal of people pick him over Phoenix because at that point, Harden definitely would have been healthy. And who knows, maybe Kyrie could have been a little bit more healthy too. But I think that a lot of people would have had trust that they would win it all, and they blew it up like before they even got to the next playoffs. So it's close, but I don't think they would be on that par.
Respect. My fault, Gabe. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, so I was actually going to piggyback on the Pacers because I liked a lot of what I saw from them actually. And the weird thing to me was, and this is what I want to mainly get your guys' opinion on, is the whole Nembhard situation, because I feel like a lot of people, of course, he had a bad shooting night, and people were saying, he looked pretty bad. To me, watching the game, I really didn't think he looked bad. I think sometimes you just have off shooting nights, and when he was on the floor, I feel like he was generating a lot of good looks. He was keeping the offense flowing, just being a primary ball handler. I felt like he'd get the ball. Most of the time, he'd get it out of his hands quick. And the shots that he were taking, I feel like that he was getting good looks. He was getting good separation. And sometimes they just don't fall. Then he did have the unfortunate injury towards the end of the first half. But even though they played well in the second half and, of course, took the game to OT and eventually into double OT, just watching it, I feel like late in the game was a lot of difficult shot making. And while that's really good to have, you always want to have tough shot makers on your team. Jarris Walker hit some great shots. Obi Toppin had a couple. Kind of Siakam, of course, as your all-star is going to have some of those. But as far as just generating clean looks, I feel like when Nembhard was on the court, they did a really good job of that. So I feel like as being the lead guard, and, of course, with McConnell back, that'll add another dynamic too. But I did like him in that sense of being able to generate those looks and really run that offense with, the pace they play, the ball movement. I just felt like the speed at which he controlled the ball and was able to get it out helped to keep that flow. So I actually liked him running the offense, even though, of course, the shot wasn't falling. But how did you guys feel about that? Did you feel like, Nembhard may not be what we talked him up to be, or just overall kind of what were your reactions from, his game and then overall what that looked like within their system?
I think that, I agree. I think that Nembhard, like everybody, as you mentioned, has a bad game. I mean, that just happens. And he was so essential to pretty much everything they did last year that after, a game, or even let's say he's not playing well 2 weeks into the season, like I'm not going to be out here like, no, he needs to go. You need to ship him out. I'm not going to do that. But I do have another thing that I'm worried about with the Pacers in that terms for the long-term future, right? I mean, they lost Miles Turner in the offseason to one of their rivals in Milwaukee, and everybody has said their think piece about that in the offseason, right? I mean, what do you think about it? Should you have paid him? What do you think about him going to the rival? Whatever. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is on-court production. And right now, I just don't think you're going to get that with any center on this roster. I mean, what is your starting center? 6'8"? And I understand we're in the modern NBA, right? I mean, anything can happen, positionless basketball. See, the issue with that is I feel like positionless basketball had its peak a couple of years ago. I think that recently we found that, why we need a big man at some point in our game that is not just a big body, but a productive big man, a guy that is 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, 7'1", a guy that's going to give you good minutes, going to play good defense, going to get you rebounds. I just don't see that here on this Pacers team. I know they're going to be a scrappy team. I know they're going to be a team that is going to be looking to create good looks. And I know that it's just a team that's going to cumulatively play together, right? Shout out Ella, by the way. That's my girlfriend.
Hey, senior. I can't see chat. Senior. W.
So I think that, to me, having Jarris Walker as your starting center, having Obi Toppin as your 4, but at the same time, it's like, well, we have Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker. And I'm not going to say they have similar skill sets because they really don't. But with Jarris Walker being a potential 3-point threat, he's not going to be a guy that's going to lock it down low because he doesn't have the size to go against, a healthy Joel Embiid. We don't know if that's going to happen, right? Is Joel Embiid going to be healthy? But he is a guy in the East that you might run into in the case that he is healthy. Are you going to be able to defend a guy like that with a guy like Jarris Walker at the 5? I just personally don't think so. But then again, we've seen the Pacers do a lot. Even though they had Miles Turner last year, nobody expected him to be where they were. So then again, the Pacers can do just about anything, and I wouldn't be completely shocked.
I just want to say, so Gabe, I didn't get to watch the first half of that game, so I can't really say too much. By the time I started watching, Nembhard was already on the bench. But my takeaway from the Pacers is that they're still going to be a very tough team to play the entire season. And I'm kind of with Garrett. I was thinking more towards like the 7 seed too, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a top 5 seed. It's just like the brand of basketball that they place embedded in within that team. And they have a lot of talented players. I'm a huge fan of Jarris Walker, bro. To me, that is really Kawhi 2.0. That
what school he go to? What school he go to?
Green Jersey?
No.
I'm sure he's from. I thought he was a Houston product.
He is.
Is he?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I was totally off. But now I'm a big Jarris Walker fan.
He didn't win it all that year. That's why.
He can defend. Obviously, he's a very stout body. He can stretch the floor, and he's a really good 3-point shooter. Like most of the time that he shoots from 3-pointer and he has some space, I think it's gonna go in. Obi Toppin has proved that every year he's gonna continue to grow. And in that game last night, Obi was starting to create for himself a little bit more. I saw some like him put the ball on the floor and actually score, which is impressive to me. As a Knicks fan, I always got love for Obi. Bennedict Mathurin, this is his year. His usage rate is going to skyrocket, and the production is going to follow. I got really high hopes for Bennedict Mathurin. Obviously, last night he showed he can be a number 1 scoring option and be effective. Anytime Bennedict Mathurin is driving to the rim, it's either going in or it's a free throw. I mean, let's be honest. Nesmith is still an elite shooter. I don't know. This Pacers team just has so many talented players that it's hard for me to take a lot of I don't know. I'll take the Pacers over the Sixers, bro. I mean, let's be honest. I might even take them over the Bucks.
Are you saying you're taking them over like the Sixers in the event that Embiid is healthy, or are we talking right now? Because what we saw out of Embiid recently, we can talk about that later. We've seen him but Embiid looks like a different beast in the worst possible way. I mean, he looks like he's about to retire because those knees hurt so bad. He has no cartilage left. But if we're talking like, okay, if Joel Embiid somehow magically comes back and now he's MVP form, I'm still gonna take that 76ers team, especially if VJ is playing like VJ played.
Yeah, but there's nothing to show me that Embiid will get back to that level, and that's a high level we're talking about. That's a high
MVP level. That's an MVP level,
bro. Embiid looked like Chris Dudley yesterday. Like, come on, bro.
Hey, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm saying like we can't just discount the possibility that he does. They put him on ice and he looks good towards the end of the season. So like I don't know, because you're gonna need to put the guy on ice. Let's be honest. Between all of us, to keep that man healthy, you seen Mitchell Robinson load manage the first game of the season. We're gonna need that out of Joel Embiid for about 79 of this 82-game season.
Wait, one more thing. JELSON, but you also have to keep into account Paul George is also on that team. So it's a lot of if, maybe.
Another unk?
Put him on ice for the whole season.
Hey,
Don't even play him.
Ice Heat, throw some a leave. Pacers in 5. Come on, bro.
Hey, listen, about like I'm gonna say some harsh truth here, man. You're not getting a healthy playoff run out of Embiid. It's not
Or
gonna
Paul
happen.
George.
There's a couple. There's
healthy
just a couple
November.
areas where we need to. That's true. That's true. But there's just a couple areas where like we just got to be realistic. I'm telling you right now, the LA Clippers not going to be healthy in the playoffs. New Orleans Pelicans, if they make it,
True.
not going to be healthy in the playoffs.
Oh,
They're not-
wait,
they're
whoa,
not
Memphis-
making it.
The Memphis
Slow down.
They're not
Grizzlies,
making it.
the Memphis Grizzlies, not going to be healthy in the playoffs.
Damn.
Fair.
Lakers?
teams?
Hey, Lakers?
Lakers,
I don't even
I don't know.
think it's necessarily with the Lakers necessarily of a health problem, to be honest with you. I think LeBron is going to miss games in the regular season, so he's healthy in the playoffs. But I think it'd be other issues like not having a depth, not having a bench, coaching mistakes. I don't think it necessarily be health.
I'm just asking because
if you've been
he's
saying,
not healthy right now.
if you've been saying about a team year in year out for half a decade, if they're healthy, brother, they're not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
And that's just the unfortunate truth. If you pick the Sixers to go
Bucks.
far, if you pick the Clippers to go far, like what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Bucks are
Because
another
they're
one.
like if they stay healthy, they're not going to. It's
Hey.
just not going to happen.
I
I hate to wish. I don't want to wish injuries on anybody, and I don't know who it's going to be, but it just doesn't happen.
Hey, sorry to say this to Lakers fans, right? We say that about, injury issues, okay? But we need to talk about coaching too, because if you say for the fourth coach in a row that your coaching is the issue, there's a wider spread issue. Whether that be your front office doesn't know how to hire coaches. I think that might be the Lakers' main thing. I think the Lakers don't know how to do much of anything other than being.
JJ is not bad, bro.
You can I
No,
say
I
something real
don't
quick?
think JJ's a bad
No.
coach. I just think
I
that
don't
if you're going
either.
to try and scapegoat
I
him,
do. I
I
do.
like
that it's a
JJ. I like
bigger
JJ.
Let me hop in here real quick.
I do.
As a Lakers fan, I can tell you, Jelson, the problem is deeper. The problem runs in the front office. That is where the problem runs. And I'm going to tell you exactly why, okay? And thank the Lord that Mark Walter recently bought the team, the majority of the team, because now front office is going to start to change a little bit. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why.
Wait, didn't that front office get you Luka?
Dude, okay,
No,
okay.
you got to shout out the
Literally,
Mavs.
you could put a 6-year-old in the front office.
It was a
and make that
50-50. It was a 50-50. Like they did some, we did some. It just ended up working out amazingly. But no, 100%. I'll give them that. But what I'm talking about when I say our front office is I mean the fact that Lakers ownership, they run that team like a family business. They do not run that team like an NBA team trying to win a championship. They run that team like they want to always be able to meet the bottom line. I'm not saying that the Lakers owners and front office is going to be out here homeless regardless, right? I'm not saying they're going to be out here homeless, but what I'm trying to say is that they always care about money. They care about bottom line. They care about being in headlines, right? So no continuity. We can never get no continuity going because if one coach isn't working, here, fire him. We're not re-signing him. When we won a championship, we should have re-signed so many players. But when you win a championship, what happens? Players get poached by other teams. And good teams and smart teams, and I hate saying this like as a Lakers fan, but the Celtics, when you win a championship, you re-sign everybody because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the Lakers didn't want to re-sign everybody. Why? Because bottom line matters. They don't want to pay extra money to Alex Caruso. They don't want to pay extra money to a Dwight Howard, a aging JaVale McGee. All these players that made a massive difference, right? And it's, again, all stems back to front office being about the money and bottom line. And if you look at most championship teams, I could be mistaken with this, but most championship teams, at least as of recently, they've said, F it. I don't care about salary cap. I don't care about this. I'll get it. I'll be in that. I'll pay those fines. It pays to win. So, and the Lakers just don't want to pay. So that's my biggest problem.
Can't. I feel like sometimes you really can't though, because you mentioned the Celtics, but I feel like they really didn't do that. But it was because they couldn't. OKC did do it, and that was really impressive that they were able to. But they have a lot of guys on rookie contracts with Boston. They just had to get rid of KP. They had to get rid of Drew. They had to get off those guys because they with the second apron stuff. The window's small. I feel like really the key to success is to have a lot of those rookie contracts to build up, and then that way, OKC had money to pay their guys. Now, when those contracts kick in, though, Caruso, Hartenstein, you're not gonna have the money to re-sign them. So I feel like a bit of that is an unfortunate truth about it. So really, I feel like with the Lakers, their old method of team building, where it's very free agency heavy, attract the big stars, then get supporting pieces, just from around the league. I feel like that approach can't work as well in the modern day because you just need so many people who are on those small rookie level contracts contributing, so that way you can pay your top guys and still have some depth around them. Or maybe it's your main guys are still young, and that way you have the money, like in OKC, with some of those extensions not having fully kicked in, they have the money to pay a Caruso, to pay a Hartenstein, to have those guys around them. So I think the overall Lakers team building method, and you see it with other teams, like talking about new owner, especially if you go look like what Phoenix did with the KD trade, new owner wanted to make a splash, traded for KD. Well, you kind of chose that like big name route. You ain't got no money to build anything around them. And these days it's like, you can say it's being cheap, but I feel like a lot of it really is that second apron. And I hate to demonize the second apron, but it does prevent teams from doing so much, even if they want to.
I'll agree with you on this is the last thing I'll say on the Lakers. I'll agree with you with every other team, but with the Lakers, brother, I've been watching this team literally since 2007. I guarantee you these guys are cheap, and these guys want to meet bottom line every single year. Which is why I thank the Lord Mark Walters. He got all these other business ventures. He is not needing the Lakers to keep his family and his everything afloat. The Buss family needed the Lakers. They have no other type of dynasty or business ventures out there.
You don't spend Ballmer money?
I hope so. He got Microsoft money.
Hey,
I
want
Jay.
to
And enough money for
Jay,
and enough money for Kawhi's second, no show.
Go ahead, Jelson or Jay.
Jay, if you want to go, you can.
I was just gonna say something about the cap. I highly disagree. I'm sorry, Gabe. I highly disagree with you when it comes to the cap. Talking about like it restricts teams. And I'm really glad that you brought up the Rockets, because their GM is actually doing his job and negotiating with these contracts. You don't have to just give a bag to everybody. Boston did not need to throw all that money to Porzingis. Cut a little bit off the top, you're good. They got Drew Holiday, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave him a max extension. You did not need to do that. Cut a little bit off the top.
I agree, and this is actually something that I was going to get into because the new aprons we've been talking about for the past couple of years now, and what's the one thing that a lot of people consider the main constrictor with cap, before the apron and before all this conversation, and how do you build good teams? And this is maintaining bird rights, right? Yeah. Maintaining players that have been on the team for at least 3 years, guys you can extend and not have to worry about the cap with these guys, at least until future down the line, right? And that's why I think these super team building eras of I'm going to trade for this guy with 2 years left on his deal, no guarantee of winning, then he's going to go into free agency, we don't know what we're going to do, then you're forced to pay these big dollars. You know what I'm saying? This is where we talked about with Boston is, I don't know exactly numbers. I didn't know if they have the bird rights for Drew. I don't think they did. I think he was only team for 2 years.
They technically could have given him a deal like that, but the point is, and the reason why they didn't do it is it would have put him so far in the second apron that they wouldn't have been able to get out of it for the longest time. They would have handicapped their team for the next 5 years, especially with Tatum's injury. That made no sense.
So then, hold on, Gabe. Let me ask you. No, finish, Justin. I'm sorry, Justin.
No, I was just gonna say, we have these two things that these really good teams got to think about. And when you think about traditional teams like the Lakers, they have this bright light on them. They want to attract the stars. They want to trade for the big pieces, the big players, the big names. Yeah, they have to worry about, okay, do we got the money for it in terms of aprons? But we got to think about the old stuff, right? We got to think about the stuff that was constricting people before the aprons. Can we extend these guys, period? Are we going to be able to do it? And I think that that's another part of why I don't think that the trading for the big name and then expecting to win for consecutive years is going to work in the modern NBA.
Facts.
Okay, Gabe.
It hasn't worked since the Nets trade. I was just gonna say it hasn't worked since the Nets trade, and then like we were saying, they just like canceled it before it really started. But yeah, go ahead.
That was a John.
I just want to ask you this, Gabe, because I talk about this a lot of times with like Lakers fans, or even just not Lakers fans, when we talk about the fact that we gave up all like those young players for Anthony Davis, right? And a lot of people was like, is it worth it? It's not worth it. For me, even if you win one championship, like it's worth it, like just to win one championship. And then in this context, so it's like you can either do like the Celtics, where you're just like, fuck it, you get a bag, everybody get a bag, right? And then now, based on what you were talking about, like you end up kind of like screwing yourself over down the road. But in the Celtics scenario, they ended up winning a championship. They won one championship. Maybe that might be it, but they won a championship. So I want to get everybody's take on this because I want to hear how everybody feels about it. But it's like, is it worth it? Because in my opinion, even if you win one, it's worth it. So what do you think? Do you think it was worth it or not?
Absolutely. I mean, look at how many teams don't have any rings. Like there's a fair. How many teams have no rings? 8, 9.
A lot of them.
And I mean, if even more, like there's teams who haven't won chips since like. I mean, all respect to you, Jay, but like the Knicks haven't won a championship in like 50 years. Like, I mean, even if they have won a ring, none of us were on this planet, bro. Like, does that matter to me? No. So it's like legitimately, if you're looking at this as the end goal is to win a ring, like there hasn't been a back-to-back champ in 8 years now. And with that said, like if you're able to get to a point where you can get over the hump and win that ring, I mean, that makes it all worth it. And sometimes teams make the right move and they don't get over the hump. And, you know, it's hard to say that the trade might not have been worth it in that point. But, I mean, I think, you know, that's the goal at the end of the day. Like, because even the best of the best aren't getting multiple rings out of it. And that was kind of what my original point was with the window with teams to win championships is increasingly becoming smaller. Like it's hard to have a dynasty because the apron prevents you from being able to bring everybody back. If you get into that situation where you have a great team, eventually those guys are going to have to go get paid elsewhere. And I mean, you can talk about the Rockets model, and, you know, I agree they have built a very stacked roster with having some more negotiation and playing a little bit of hardball and getting the extensions that they want to get instead of just handing out a free bag. I mean, we're still kind of TBD if that's going to end up working out at the end. I mean, just a couple years ago, even talking about the Rockets, like when they gave out those deals to Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet in that offseason, I think that was the offseason we were doing KOT, and they got pretty heavily lambasted. Like, oh, that's an old head word, but they got pretty heavily flamed for that.
Wait, what did you say? What
lambasted?
Lambasted is a crazy word.
Yeah, that was the thesaurus. That was the thesaurus word of the week. But they got
got a new word.
They got pretty flamed for those moves, and it ended up working in their favor because they were able to make the right trades with those contracts, flip them to a good degree. Obviously, you know, those guys help change the culture around too. So there's a risk to every move, but main point, it's hard to keep a contender together because of the apron, because of cap hell. And so really you have to be able to build through the draft to be able to win, because that's how you get guys on low contracts that can come in, be instant contributors, and hopefully you can get your main guys on those deals. So that way, you know, you have some guys on a rookie deal like we just saw OKC do, and hopefully, you know, get over the hump that way.
Do you care if I go real quick, Jay?
No, you go.
This is a really interesting topic to me because I'm the only person here whose franchise does not have a championship, right? So with that being said, I don't give two damns who you give up or who you pay. You getting if you're going to get a championship, if you can guarantee me today that you are going to give current Dwight Howard 75 M's a year, okay? And you guarantee me a championship next year? And I got to be stuck on that 8-year deal. We're gonna bring back 8-year deals, okay? We're paying Dwight Howard until he is 76. I do not care.
Bradley Beal, 50 M's, no trade clause.
Dwight Howard, 50 M's, no trade clause.
Hey, here's one. Jay knows Joakim Noah on the Knicks.
Oh God, dark times. Don't remind me, dark times.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. I'm saying when you come from the perspective, I guess for Boston it might be a little different. I mean, you've won so many championships in your history, but I think at the same time to win so many championships with Los Angeles, and that's maybe where they lost their ways a little bit, is to win these championships, you have to fight like you've never won a championship, right? Yeah. And that's why Boston keeps doing it. That's why Boston is consecutively, always going to be in that, championship contender tier. We didn't see that with Los Angeles, as John was mentioning earlier. We didn't see that hunger. You win that championship in the bubble in 2020, you lose everybody. Where's the hunger? Do you want another one? Are you going to enter the season?
They had a good roster the year after.
No, we didn't. We brought Carmelo Anthony in and Trevor Ariza the year after.
No. He means 2020, 2021.
2020, 2021, the year right after the bubble, they still had a squad. Yeah. Late in the season, they had some injuries, and then they went out to Phoenix round 1. But that year after, they had a squad. It was when they did the Russ trade for 22 that they.
And as much as I don't really want to admit it, they were up 2-1 against the Suns until AD was fully out.
Hey, and when I say this, I don't even mention I don't even only mean like the front office. I mean from a player perspective too. I mean, you have to have those players that are ready to fight for another one, right? Yeah. They got to fight like they don't have one. I mean, LeBron has his fair few, and he's fighting in 2020 like he didn't have one. The past couple of years, what we talk about on social media, we say LeBron doesn't look like he wants it as much.
That hunger not there no more. That hunger not there.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I think of like the 2020 Raptors, bro. They lost Kawhi. Dude, they were still like they took in the bubble. They went to a hard-fought Game 7 with that Celtics team. Like they got after it, bro. They said we lost our star player who just went on one of the best runs of all time, and they came back and they said, let's run it back ourselves. And they
because also, good team. Mean, yeah, that's just a team as well where it's like you knew before Kawhi got there was this reputation around them where it's like, oh, they choke in the playoffs every year and then they win together. Kawhi leaves, and there's still some pressure on them to see like, okay, can this team do it without Kawhi? And I mean, even though they didn't, like the season they had after that was probably better than a lot of people expected. I remember I didn't even have them making the playoffs that next year. And then they ended up having, I think, the second best record in the league. It was either them or the Lakers, like the year the Lakers won. I think you guys might have a better record though. But I think you guys had a better but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the Raptors had a better record even than the Lakers that year, right?
I'll confirm.
It was close. It was close. I know we were a 2 seed in the conference. The Bucks were the 1 seed with MVP Giannis.
I will confirm that. But in the meantime, is there anyone else that wants to touch on anything? Because if not, I want to go to Jay. I want Jay to touch on his game for the week. So if there's not nothing, Jay, take the floor, my brother.
All right. If y'all don't mind, I got 2 games I really want to discuss. Yep. Right. Okay. First game, Rockets OKC. Okay. I was preaching all off season that the KD trade was a fail. KD is 37 years old. What he's doing being around all these young boys. He doesn't belong on this team, bro. He does not belong on this team. He doesn't fit. Ime Udoka has established a intensive, aggressive, defensive culture within the Rockets. And last year, Jalen Green was their leading scorer, and Dylan Brooks was their best shooter, also one of their best defensive wings, right? They're gonna lose that identity this year. The year they played phenomenal against OKC. It's the game opener. Everybody's hyped up. Sengun balled out. Amen Thompson still showed that his progress that we saw in the playoffs is still there. He can still get to the rim at will. That jumper is awfully broken still, but they will find a way. And that's another thing. The spacing on this Rockets team is awful. The only players that can shoot is Alfred Sengun, and we hope that jump shot lasts the entire year. KD, Jabari Smith Jr., and I can't name another name. I don't know.
Stop. No, stop. You're leaving off a guy who you hate. Say his name.
Who?
Come on, bro. You're not intentionally leaving off Reed Shepherd.
All right, come on, bro. I was talking about.
You just said shooting.
I was talking about good NBA players right now. You threw me off with Reed Shepherd. And you threw
Hey,
me off
dude.
the reset.
You'll learn.
He's a rotation
Enough.
point
Hey,
guard.
wait. No. Before Jelson, you'll learn soon enough. I know Steph's not here, so I gotta defend him while he's not here. Go ahead.
Hey,
I
Reed,
was just
hey, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me really cook Reed Shepard. Throw him in the game. Real quick.
Go ahead.
Hey, talk to him. Talk to him.
Reed
Talk to
Shepard
him.
cannot guard a parked car. Jesus, he was getting thrown
Okay.
around by OKC players.
And and let me also say though, given what the Rockets have there, with their offense looked trash. A lot of us were watching the game and we said, man, their offense looked kind of rough. I know Şengün was hitting shots, but they definitely need a ball handler and a facilitator. Otherwise, they're gonna have to make a move for a point guard. And I think eventually they still will at some point in the season.
It's not Reed
But-
Shepard. It's not Reed Shepard.
It sure is gonna be for a few months at least.
He's a
You're
shooting
gonna
guard.
learn.
He is a shooting guard. Get the
Hey.
ball out of his hand.
No, I get that,
Wait.
but for what they have right now, he is one of, if not their best ball handler. Maybe him, Durant, Amin
yeah, that
Thompson.
team's cooked if that's the case.
I'm
all I'm gonna
telling
say.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
Jelson,
telling
absolutely.
you. Okay, I'm telling
Oh,
you, but that's
what?
what they have right now.
No, I agree.
Because Fred
but,
Van Vliet's not playing this season.
I wanted to mention this to Jay too, kind of like solidify his point a little bit with the KD thing and all the Reed Shepard business, and that's kind of what Garrett's getting after here. Is I could be wrong, but generally, I believe the starting lineup that they brought out on the game 1 of the season for them was the tallest starting lineup in NBA history.
It was pretty tall.
And your point guard 6'7", we got 3 6'11" players on the floor.
Stop! Come on.
You have your shortest guy is literally the same height as a meme that is still massive. Okay.
It's massive.
Wow, what kind of okay? Vocabulary is off the charts today, all around.
So all I gotta say is, as a team, I don't want to take too much off what Jay's saying because I think he probably has a lot more to add on to this. But as a team, with them being so robust, okay, in terms of height, I think that it's important to mention that half court offense is still ass.
Yeah. But with what they have going right now, at least they need a guy who can get them into their offense. And Kevin Durant is one of the best isolation scorers ever, and he still is one of the best in the game today.
But he's
Maybe
just
not
one of
the best.
guys. He's just one of the guys, Garrett.
What are you talking about? One of the guys.
He's just one of the guys. He doesn't want to be.
It was their first game.
He's
against
one of the
best
guys.
defense we've seen in years.
Dude.
That offense
Okay.
didn't play amazing,
And-
but it was
and
their
the
first game
defending
against
champions.
the best defense we've seen in years.
And defending champions, too,
Hey,
at that.
I get it.
68 in defending champion. Best
Listen.
defense in the league last year. Defending champions.
All right. Let's not act like the Rockets were the second seed last year. This is not a trash team. They should have
And they
been
lost-
contenders in this team.
And they lost, but they lost to a 7 seed because they had Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. And guess what? They
Bro.
shipped them out for the greatest scorer of this generation.
The Rockets have
Bro.
3 different starters. They
Hey,
have
listen.
3 new starters.
And they still won. They should have probably won that game.
Hey, trade for Monte Morris. You
Wait,
heard it here first.
I'm not saying. Well,
No.
I think you're
Go ahead, Jay.
misunderstanding what I'm trying to say, Gabe. I'm not saying that
Okay.
they're the same team or anything. I'm saying that with the team constructed now, they're not going to live up to the expectations that they had that they now have because they traded for KD, bro.
What's their expectation to you?
Title
Championship.
contention.
Yeah,
They're-
they have every
no.
all I've seen.
All
Okay,
season,
no.
everybody was talking about
Okay.
they're in title contention, bro.
Right. I'm saying maybe they are hoping to win a championship. They think they have enough to win a championship. You right now, if you had to place them, where do you think they would finish in the West? Are they a first round exit, second round exit, conference finals,
I need to
losing
see
in the
that.
final?
Who is their competition? They're not beating OKC.
The West.
They're
Oh,
not
sorry.
beating OKC. They're not beating Denver. They're not
Okay.
beating OKC. They're not beating Denver.
Bro, they just went to double
I-
OT with OKC in their first
That's the
game.
first-
And
That's the first game. OKC played the
and
most
Jay.
games.
Jay, I would agree with you. But what else after that? Is there anything else after that, or is that it?
They're
in the West?
losing to OKC. They're losing to Denver for sure. Losing to Golden State.
There's
Golden
a
State-
team out
Golden
north.
State's a
There's a
drag.
team
I'm
out
gonna be
north
honest.
with Julius
It's
Randle.
still mad early.
Give me Golden State. Give me
No,
Golden
they're
State
not.
over Houston.
Yes, they are.
Give me Golden
Yes, they
State
are.
over Houston.
No, they're
Give me
not.
Golden State.
I'm not taking Golden State over Houston.
Golden
Give
State
me
I'm not
Golden
gonna
State
take
over
I'm not
Houston.
doing that.
Hey,
I would
Curry
take-
owns
I'm
KD.
not taking them
always
either.
has, always will.
That would be a great game. I would love to see that playoff matchup, though. I would be
Hey,
honest.
I would bet hard
Curry
money
has
that
always
the Minnesota
owned KD.
beats Houston.
I think that the Rockets are expected to be a second round exit. I think that OKC and Denver are the top two teams in the West, and they're
Why
in that
Denver?
next.
But why Denver's? This is a separate conversation.
Why not
Why
Denver?
Denver? They just got better than when they
Because
won
they got the
championship.
best player in the league. They got
I
Jamal
don't care
Murray.
if they got the best
Aaron
player
Gordon.
in the league. The best player in
And
the
they
league
got
wants to
depth.
go race horses.
They got depth as well on their team. They have finally
They've been
a
second
big.
round out 2 years. in a row, though.
Hallelujah.
No, exactly.
Can we
Hey,
pray
hey,
to
real quick.
God and Jesus that they finally have a backup big that can play?
Yes.
But,
and,
okay,
and,
play
and
is-
while we're
Talking about
talking
Jokic
about Denver,
defense?
real quick, while we're talking about Denver, to Garrett's
Yeah.
point, absolutely right. They have a backup big, not only just any backup big. Jonas Valanciunas is a backup big, and guess what? You know,
Low end starter.
right, Garrett. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He could go on a lot of teams and really start and be a really good starter. And the other thing, and I think is the difference maker, is the fact that they got rid of Michael Porter that never swings the rock. As soon as he gets the rock, he ball stopping, he pulling that. And now they brought in Cam Johnson, who is so much better of a fit
Whoa.
in
Hey,
that.
Cam Johnson had
No,
the second
no, no,
worst
No,
performance.
hold on. Cam Johnson.
John, who else did they get rid of?
Who
Who else did they get rid of?
All right.
Wait, you're
You know-
freezing. I can't see. Wait, what happened?
Yeah, who else are they getting rid of? Say his man. Say his man. Come on.
Yo,
Jay-
John, keep
Russ.
it
They got
Yeah.
rid of Russ.
Keep it over.
They got rid of
yeah,
Westbrook.
they got rid of Russ.
Yeah.
He over here in Sacramento.
Thank you.
They got
Yeah.
rid of Russ. Jay, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I forgot
With
that
the
was,
Queens.
that was your dog. But anyway,
Free Russ. Free
look,
Russ.
hey, let me finish. Listen, why Denver? Because I love that. I love the fact that you said that, Jelson, because honestly, it's upsetting to say as a Lakers fan, but I think Denver's going to win a championship this year. Like, they are better than when they won the championship. To Garrett's point, they brought in a backup big, a suitable backup big. They brought in Cam Johnson, who I think is going to be much better in that Michael Porter role. And I think one of the biggest key factors is they brought back Bruce Brown. Y'all, when they won a championship with Bruce Brown, if you go back and look, Bruce Brown was playing the backup point guard to Jamal Murray. He'd bring the ball up court, right, and run the pick and roll. And then sometimes he'd also be the screen setter on the pick and roll. He'd run an inverted pick and roll. I'm like, yo, he's playing out the post. He's playing out in the wing. He can do a little bit of everything. And that was the year that I said he's the best role player in the league. He went and got his bag and Pacers and then Raptors. But now he's back. This team's going to win a championship. And
Okay,
it's
he's better,
unfortunate.
man.
I do
Okay,
have a
see,
question.
Preach.
OKC's
Preach.
not gonna know what to do with them. Pause.
I disagree.
with the thickness of Jokic and Jamal and
bruh.
Jonas Valanciunas.
Jonas.
Okay,
Jonas is not
I-
playing heavy minutes in the playoffs, first of all.
I agree.
Second of all, OKC played like shit in that series last year and they still won. J-Dub had the worst
Okay.
series I've ever seen. He looked like a terrorist on the court. There's no way
can I
his
also-
hand was broken, bro. His shooting hand had a fucking torn ligament and they still beat Denver. And they couldn't shoot a fucking three to save their life. They shot I swear to God, they shot 20% the whole series and they still won.
But
They're
let's-
not
let's
going
see,
to play
there's-
worse than that. OKC's not going to play worse
But
than
let's-
that.
let's
They're
also
better
mention-
than Denver.
because
The
I wanna
Denver.
mention-
Go ahead.
I know I was just gonna mention this real quick, Garrett, because I think this might help your point. But or you might also be able to attack this. But OKC's we mentioned J-Dub playing like freaking Osama bin Laden. Okay,
What are we doing with these
And then-
name drop of
And
famous
then-
terrorists? Like
and
this
then-
is crazy. Go ahead.
we have, and then okay, obviously I'm super biased over here, but I would take Minnesota over Denver, and that's not because, right?
Oh, Minnesota over Denver. What the hell?
Minnesota has been the only team to me
Wait a
outside
minute.
of OKC that has consistently shown that they know how to beat Denver.
Okay.
Minnesota has them. They beat them in the playoffs 2 years ago. Okay, they did go to 7, but they did beat them in the playoffs 2 years ago. Denver hasn't beaten us in over a season. And like,
I mean,
and
yeah,
obviously-
that's true. But also, to be
me.
fair,
Convince me.
to be fair, is but to be fair as well, like we even saw, it's a matchup game, but matchups can change just like that. It doesn't matter if you tweak your team that much at all. Because how many times in a row did the Clippers beat the Lakers, and then all of a sudden, like 2 years ago when you guys made the conference finals, you guys like switched that whole turned it all the way opposite, and then I think you guys swept the season series with them after you guys got beat down like 14 straight games. And it's not like the team itself was dramatically different up until the Westbrook trade. But I'm just making a point. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, because I actually really do agree with that, because we also saw it with Minnesota and Phoenix, a couple years ago. Like, you get swept in the regular season and then you sweep in the playoffs. And I would generally
Denver
agree
beat you guys in 2023.
Right.
Denver eliminated you guys.
Right. I would generally agree with that statement that you put out here. However, the fact that you do beat them in the playoffs, and then the next year you go, hey, we have your number. Like, we did take you to 7 in the playoffs, and we beat you. And then in the regular season, we have your number. You can't beat us. And I know preseason. I don't take too much out of that. I take maybe 1 grain of salt out of the preseason, right? We play Denver in the preseason, and Denver looked like Denver to me. And that's not even and I mean, they look like Denver against Minnesota. And that is completely lost. Minnesota has their number. Can't get anything going on offense. You got to make, you have to make Jokic a scorer. And I feel like a lot of teams still, for some reason, haven't found out that if you make Jokic a scorer instead of a facilitator, you have a good chance of beating that Denver squad.
Yeah, I mean, here's just the one thing that I was going to say, like in response to like Gabe's stuff, because I know you're talking just about how Jonas is not going to play that much, and just my thing is, and I kind of alluded to this, I think the other day when we were talking, like Jokic, the last couple years, I know that he's gotten in better shape. Maybe the past couple years is like when he was early in the league, and he's still not in great shape as it is, but compared to that, he's definitely improved. But you can tell there's times where he plays a lot of minutes and he gets so exhausted because he has literally no backup big. And sometimes they can put Aaron Gordon there, but if Aaron Gordon's there, then he's not like on the wing, or you know what I mean? Like the other night, he just hit like 9-10 threes. Like probably doesn't happen in games where he's getting a lot of minutes as a center. You know what I mean? Like, cause he's probably that lob threat. With the bigs they have now with Jonas Valanciunas, he's not going to play a whole lot of minutes because Jokic is great, but anytime Jokic needs a break, he is going to get it. And that's something he never had in the last several years. I can't even remember the last time, like probably since they had Jokic and Nurkic when they were like real young or something like that, that they probably had that capability. And that's something that they finally have now. I also think that with a lot of the young guys like Chris Brown, Bruce Brown, like they just have a better team and also a more experienced team. And also I think that their head coach, David Adelman, even though they mentioned a good point yesterday when the game started, because they were down 10-0 to Golden State. Any coach is probably calling a timeout there, but yet they still actually, it felt like they gained confidence back and they took the lead early in the second quarter. Like, I just feel like a lot of the players probably have a good relationship with David Adelman that by last season, it seemed like it was starting to wear down on Mike Malone. So that's just another thing to keep in mind.
I respect the point. I do think, and I'm not saying that Denver didn't get better. I do agree that Denver got better. My main point was more so that I just think that OKC also got better. And I think that the performance they showed last year in the win, I think that they have a lot of improvement that they can take from there as well. And I think we've already seen some internal improvements from them over the last couple games here, you know, with Chet's offensive progression, AJ Mitchell, some other guys, which I don't want to get too deep into them right now. But that was really just where I was going with it. But I do agree. I do think like having the backup big there is going to be huge for them, especially more so for the course of the 82 games. I think once you get playoff time, he's still probably going to be clocking over 40 a game, but I think he'll be a lot fresher at that point in the season versus the wear and tear of having to play so heavy minutes throughout the whole season. But yeah, I think now we do got to get into what's in the title of the video here, which is the NBA Mafia scandal. So yeah, really, you know, John has been our gracious host this whole time, so I do want to let him get his first take on this one. But we've seen some shit go down the last couple of days, man. Cash Patel's on our screen talking about some NBA current and former players. Seems like people in Portland are a little happy right now. Seems like they kind of wanted the coaching change.
Chauncey
yeah.
trying to get his bills up. Crazy.
John, man, what was your initial reaction to seeing Terry and Chauncey get clapped?
That was
whoa, on video too.
That was crazy. So look, first of all, I think it's crazy that like Tiago Splitter became the head coach. Like I was not expecting that. Like I was expecting anybody else except Tiago Splitter. But anyway,
that's a legend right there, champion.
No, he is a legend. But like to the Blazers, like that came out of nowhere for sure. But look, honestly, this whole thing with the scandal, like the whole thing with like the poker, I don't even really know what's going on with that. Like I don't really understand. Like some glasses, some poker, or something like that. But all I want to touch on with this is like, I don't know how, at least me, how did I not like expect this? The NBA are literally partners with betting companies. Like this never crossed my mind. I swear it never crossed my mind. Like, oh yeah, they're probably like point shaving or doing this or doing that. Like literally there are gambling companies that are literally official league partners. So I don't know where we were all, maybe you guys were on it. I wasn't on it. I wasn't thinking like, yeah, they're for sure doing this. And another thing is Terry Rozier, Jonte Porter, and Chauncey, right? We're crazy to think that those are the only ones. Those are the only ones that have gotten caught. Like those are the only ones that have gotten caught. There is so much more going on out there. And my biggest thing I'll say, and then I want to hear what y'all got to say is, I just think it kills the game of basketball. Like the in its purest form, right? Like in its purest form, it just kills the game and the love for the game and just the desire to want to be great, right? Like I could never see myself. But then again, I've never seen like $10 million, handed to me like that. I'm sure they were seeing a lot of money, but I'm saying I could never see myself, jeopardize the outcome of a game just for the love of the game. Like that's disrespectful to the game of basketball. And I think some karma will come back around. So that's where I'm at with that. But I just think it's crazy. It's ruining the sport that I love.
Well, what's even crazier about it is, this is what seriously pisses me off about the NBA right now is they cleared Terry Rozier's name. They said he wasn't doing anything. Literally, just months prior to this entire thing. They said, Terry Rozier, welcome back to the league, pal. Nothing ever happened. Guess what? The FBI never closed their investigation. So I guess people will just completely overlook that. Don't blame them. Obviously, if I'm a Mafia fan, I'm going to look into what the NBA has to say. But I'm not so sure about that anymore. On top of that, we've seen a lot of people on Twitter and on other social medias talking about what else are they rigging? Is it just the players? Is it the league themselves? And I would not put it past Adam Silver, unfortunately. David Stern, maybe. But with Adam Silver, I'm not putting it past him. I mean, let's think about it, right? When people bring this up all the time, right? The frozen envelopes. You know what I'm saying? What are we seeing here? Dallas, you get rid of Luka in one of the worst moves I've ever seen in my life. Probably the worst move I've ever seen in my life. And you get the number one pick. We saw the Spurs. They always had a great big man. Hey, Wemby's coming in the league. And Spurs views are down. They're considered a boring team right now. What do? Let's give him Wendy's. Let's give him Wendy's.
Give him Wendy's. Hey, throw that Dave's double in a Frosty.
$5 biggie bag. So and then this is one that people often forget, and this is one that's into my mind is, oh, they did the same thing with New Orleans just a couple of years ago. They lose AD. AD goes off. And they give him Zion. Like, to me,
talk to him.
I've never
Luka Cooper flag.
Right, exactly. Luka Cooper flag. Spurs viewership is down. Always have a great big. They give him Wendy's, and then New Orleans, they lose Anthony Davis. What do? Give him Zion. The generational prospects. What do? You give them to the teams that are lacking viewership, and the fan base is currently upset. Guess what? Brings in viewership, brings fans back to the game. And to me, how is that not like super obvious rigging? I mean, like, obviously we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but we've seen before that the NBA is not above rigging the draft lottery. You know what I mean? So to me, it's like,
hey, Kobe retired, Lonzo.
Yes, exactly.
I was just gonna say that too, and that was a second pick. Like they strategically put it second because they knew Markelle Fultz was gonna be the first pick. So it's
I also wanted to mention this one. Okay, this one's a little shot to the chest. Okay, the Timberwolves lose Jimmy Butler, give him Anthony Edwards.
Cook.
Jimmy was there for such a short time, though.
I ain't gonna lie, this whole morning was nasty. Seeing Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, and I don't think y'all mentioned yet, notoriously known as LeBron James' friend, Damon Jones, was
I'm glad you
arrested
brought that up.
in this indictment. Yes. And a lot of guys I seen on the internet, everybody's trying to be like, yo, Chauncey wasn't involved in the sports betting. It's only the poker games. That's cap. That's capped. He was not named specifically, but they did say a player that played in the time span that Chauncey played and was a coach in the time span that Chauncey coached and lives in Oregon. I mean,
Chauncey's ass is up.
1 + 1 = 2 to me. I don't know about you guys, but it seemed pretty simple. It's cooked. I mean, this is like a really bad look, especially because what JELSON mentioned that they cleared Terry Rozier. He said, Terry, you're good. We ain't seen no wrongdoing. It's like the guy that does security. He doesn't really check you. Like it's a bad look for Adam Silver. And he's gonna have to explain that in the future. And that makes me think about the Kawhi situation. And it didn't seem like Adam Silver was too pressed
They
to
swept that
kick
under
out
the rug.
aspiration. And it makes me feel like Adam Silver doesn't really give a damn what y'all do with y'all money. Just keep it on the low.
Hell yeah.
And this came to light. A lot of people got to answer for what's about to happen. And John also said this is not just those 3 people. This is going to. There was an article that said that it has cross college basketball as well. So we're going to see a lot more names be circulated in the news cycle.
And I'm gonna be honest, just real quick, just to add something real quick, Garrett, and then you can go. It's crazy because if you think about it, bro, like the lower end players, the players who are like even less than a role player, a lot of the times it's actually financially worth it. Like it's really actually worth it. You're damn near not even getting as much from the team. Some of these mob bosses and mafia families tell you, hey, go under, and you have insider information. They're literally making more money on some of the, like Jonte Porter. He probably made more money on the bets than he made in the league. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I find it funny.
Yeah.
I find it funny that like they're like, who
the
the hell
fact
is
that
betting on Jonte Porter? Check his ass. Like,
Yeah.
that's funny. Anyways, Garrett, go.
I think like, and that is true. Although it's just surprising, like the players that actually got busted, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, who have made like multi-million dollars, in their career. But I mean, people say like everything that's kept in the dark always comes to light. So it's like if you're going to be doing this behind the scenes, you can't think that you're going to get away with it, especially when people are like suspiciously making high bets on these values. And it's like, oh yeah, Terry Rozier's definitely not going to do this, when at one point he was a 20-point per game scorer. Or someone like, oh yeah, like this game's just not going to go well for this said team because player 1, which we all know is Damian Lillard, is not playing in that game. I know I'm referring to the Chauncey Billups thing because that was like a March game of 2023. And so like, it's just dumb. Me personally, I mean, I've said, maybe I've tried to, but I've never actually even done sports betting. It's just, I've never once done it. And so I get it. Some people want to do it. I know it's been going on for years. You could even go trace back to like when Pete Rose did it in the MLB, and for years they kept him out of the MLB Hall of Fame because of that. I know like Gabe knows that, especially with his Reds. But I think that, just with the reputation that it's built, like it can't be associated so much and pushed down our throats like with the NBA itself. Like they showed the one thing on ESPN when they were talking about it, and they removed the ESPN bet ticker in the middle of the thing. And like people were saying like, oh, we're talking about this. Like when Inside the NBA was talking about it, and they're like, yeah, and this is sponsored by FanDuel. Like it's just like dumb that like, oh yeah, by the way, like here's some bets that you can place. Like I think it's dumb that they're the ones like pushing this out, and that Adam Silver as well has openly condoned it like to a degree for the players, and it's gotten to a point where like now people are just doing it. But even if it doesn't make sense, like Terry Rozier, like I said, I don't know how much off the top of my head he's made in his career, but I'm willing to bet at least like probably around 100 million, like 80, 100 million. And you're doing these bets just to win 200K extra for maybe close friends or family members, just so maybe you can get extra parts of the pot too. Like, that makes no sense to me.
All right. So here's my question. Here's my question for you guys, because
Okay. And then after you go, I do have a question as well I want to ask.
Okay. So my question is, as far as the presentation goes, because obviously, this is a big deal. People are reacting heavily, and, it's something they are receiving a lot of backlash for. And I'd be shocked if, the Terry and Chauncey and Damian Jones weren't banned. But moving forward, like with this whole like dark cloud going on, do you think it changes the presentation at all as far as what the league's doing? Or do you think they're just going to be like, hey guys, these guys are banned, but by the way, this game is sponsored by DraftKings, the official partner of the NBA. Like, do you think that they'll roll it back? Because at the end of the day, I feel like the gambling companies at this point are some of the biggest sponsors of the league. And it's like, I feel like if you try to roll that back, almost like the whole economy of the league at this point is going to be like screwed, because these gigantic contracts that they're getting, I mean, obviously a big part is media rights deals, but as far as like the sponsorship money and how, all these different contracts are being paid for, a big part of that is the payouts from the gambling sponsorships.
And Gabe, I feel like I agree with you 100%. I feel like the reason why the league implemented these sports books so heavily is because of the pandemic, and they were trying to figure out, where do we recoup from all the money that we lost, and how can we like reignite the league into
ticket sales and
And I think that's why they pushed the gambling and all that like upon the fans so heavily.
Wow. So I honestly didn't even think that didn't even cross my mind. But honestly, you guys are very, very smart for that. Just like the same way, I would literally see that, like, just like how you said, Gabe, like, this game is sponsored by FanDuel, and I would never think anything of it. I'd be like, oh, sweet, shout out FanDuel, but like, man, no, that's crazy. And I'm really actually curious about that, Gabe. I want to see if they're gonna, because to Garrett's point, they said that they took out the ESPN bet ticker. Like, I really do want to see that, actually. That is, because they might just peel back for a little bit, and then, when everybody forgot about everything in like 3-4 months, when things is smoothed over, they might just bring it right back, because that money is too much money to lose, I think.
Too much.
Well, I will say too, because I know when Shams was talking about it, he said that this is going to be an investigation that goes on for the next several months, up until like a year from now. So I think if it were to get to that point, it will still take some time,
I think that, as to Garrett's point earlier, was like, why are we seeing, ESPN presentations or, presentations of other sorts, podcasts, the next thing you talk about? Like, I mean, why are we seeing them talking about like Terry Rozier, suspended or, indefinitely put on leave, for this FBI investigation over sports betting? But before we get into it, put $5 on your FanDuel account, get $200 in bonus bets. It's like, okay, well, let's have a conversation here. But I think another thing to the general point here is, are they going to do anything? Absolutely not, in my opinion. I mean, as we said, the money's too good. I think that they might, take it back 1 or 2 notches until this investigation's over. But until we see a guy like a LeBron, like a Curry, like a Jokic, like a top 5, top 10 player, come through, the NBA is not going to suspend him. We know that. Like, they could be caught red-handed. The NBA is not going to suspend a LeBron, a Curry.
Why do you think Michael Jordan played baseball?
Well,
no, exactly. I genuinely think that that might be why. And I think that until like we see a player like of that caliber not get caught by the NBA, but get caught by the feds, like the FBI, we're not going to see any genuine change.
Let me also just jump in, because of course they said like the 4 teams that were involved, I believe, are the Hornets, the Trailblazers, the Raptors, and the Lakers. And so this is a question, I know Jay kind of talked about it, but I kind of have a question too for John, because of course it involves his boy LeBron. And so I'm sure you saw like the whole Damon Jones thing with that, and like how he, I guess, got inside info of LeBron like not playing in one game. And so they found that as like evidence to use against Damon Jones. So I'm asking you, I mean, just because obviously LeBron is your guy, but also whether it's anybody else on these teams, like, I'm not gonna lie, Gabe like might disagree, but there are points in time where I watch the Raptors and I'm thinking Jakob Poeltl betting the under, because Some days he looks like he's absolutely throwing the game, which is why I was not surprised that Toronto was mentioned in there, even after Jonte Porter. But I want to ask you, John, about the whole like Damon Jones, LeBron situation, like what you think about that.
I mean, honestly, bro, what did LeBron do? LeBron gave him information about him not playing. Is that what happened?
I mean, to be honest, I don't even know if we know for sure if he got that information from LeBron, but I'm just asking, like, if someone like LeBron, like, gave someone that info, I mean, they're not going to get like a league suspension or something like that, but like, is there a penalty that comes with that, you think, or what is your take on that?
A penalty on LeBron?
On any player that like does that, like Damian Lillard, for instance, obviously had the information that he wasn't going to play for Portland the one day, and then Chauncey Billups told so and so who made a bet that they could, bet the under, or
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like my original point, bro. I just think it just takes away like the pureness of the game. It takes away, like, honestly, one thing that I love, bro, as a basketball fan is like watching a game, watching it live, besides the fucking commercials. I hate that. But like watching it live and just like not knowing what's going to happen, bro, being on the edge of your seat and being like, oh my goodness, but like if betting starts to come into that, bro, like that changes like literally all of that. Like now if I know that, even if I have an inkling suspicion, right? Like, if somebody's now playing like ass, my first thought is going to be like, oh, they have to be going under, right? So, like, I think that I think honestly,
Dante,
Westbrook's been doing it for years, then, huh?
For years.
I'm tired of Westbrook strays, man. Leave the ball alone.
Go ahead.
Nah, honestly, I was just gonna say, bro, like, to Jelson's point, I think the league won't really do something until like one of those big name players get caught into something like that. Like, honestly, when I seen the whole Damian Jones or whatever and LeBron, like, truthfully, like, I didn't even really know what happened, but all I knew is if LeBron gets found even like halfway like guilty, the league is blowing up. Like, this is gonna be a problem. Like,
wait, John, I got a question for you. Say, like, I want you to think of yourself in the player's shoes. You're LeBron James. You're telling your homie, man, my back fucked up. I don't think I'm gonna play tonight. Do you think you should receive like any type of punishment for that? But you're doing it not knowing, like, you got no clue that he's gambling on the side.
If you have no idea, yeah, but then you're gonna have to prove that you have no idea. You would have to prove that, like, in a trial, because then that's just not fair. But you can't be telling somebody like, "Yo, take the under on me," like I'm hurt. But yeah, honestly, bro, I feel like if there's any type of inkling, and like the FBI got to go into text messages and phone calls and all that and figure that out. Because if there's any inkling that you knew that person was going to bet, then that's shaky. Because, I mean, think about it, bro. If I'm like Savannah James, like, fuck it, like I know all the game. I'm just betting it on.
That's a real slippery slope to go on, though, because then it's like, bro, like, are players even allowed to talk? So I don't know if you can really like hold a standard like that to, across all players. Like, like if there was a situation like that with LeBron, like I don't think he's getting prosecuted for telling a friend like his back hurts. Like, there's clearly no, like, if you're trying to prove it as like gambling fraud or something like that, like I don't really think there's enough damning evidence there to prove that. But I mean, I feel like overall though, like, sports betting is going to be a part of the game. Like, it's not going to be something that goes away. People like doing it. I've never been a big sports gambling guy, mostly because I just want to like to be secure with my money too. It feels like, these are real like human dudes on the court, and I feel like it's like betting on horses or something. Like,
nah, take that over, Gabe.
Oh my god, like what are you doing, bro? Nah, whenever somebody gets in the comments and it's like, this person sold my parlay, I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like,
yeah.
Brother,
well, and that's why though I wanted
another man.
That's why I wanted to ask too, specifically to John, because, like, I mean, obviously Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, and I mean, people are still looking at Malik Beasley and that whole thing. Like, those are kind of the main ones here at fault, and of course, they're still going to be doing more investigations over the next couple months. So that's why I wanted to ask at least John about a perspective from one of our favorite players, like from one of our members, and see like where we stand now before everything maybe unravels in the next couple months. The only other thing I wanted to say, and then I'm personally done on this topic, is like, we saw for so many years how the point shaving, and I'm bringing up Pete Rose again, how that kept him from getting in the Hall of Fame. And for so many years, he was not eligible, and he couldn't get back in. There was no way. And then once he passed away, he became eligible once again. So I wonder if there's anything that has to do with something of a player who's already in the Hall of Fame, because Chauncey Billups got in there last year, and it's like, are they going to do something about that or no? And it's weird because, I mean, of course, I don't want to talk about the reason, but for instance, the NBA has put people in for, even though they've done things that are just as bad or worse, like Karl Malone, right? Yeah. So, I'm just saying as well, like with this whole Chauncey Billups thing, doing something that suspends you pretty much from the league indefinitely, does that, like, I don't know if that has any, fallback against like someone who's already made the Hall of Fame, walked up there, got honored, and do they strip that away or something? I don't know.
I also just like wanted to mention something that, or like touch on something that you kind of mentioned quickly there, but I also will touch on what you had just said. But Malik Beasley hasn't been signed. Let's be honest. They're sending his ass to Alcatraz. That's why he hasn't been signed yet. The FBI is on his trail. I don't think he's.
I feel like Malik Beasley may be innocent because this jurisdiction was in New York, and that's the same jurisdiction that was investigating Malik Beasley. So if it's tied and related anyway, his name would have been brought up this morning. So he may be innocent, bro.
That's a good point.
But also this gambling stuff is kind of interesting because I don't know if you guys know, but Gilbert Arenas got arrested for something similar, unrelated, but something similar too.
What did he get arrested for?
He had like a I think it was a sponsor or something that he had for his podcast that was it like basically violated like whatever rules or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he was doing.
It was some gambling thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, he was hosting a legal poker game. Same thing as Chauncey Billups. Well, different, not cheating people out, but if you take a cut, if you host a poker game and you take a cut, that's illegal, like off rip.
Yeah. Damn. That's good.
Well, I mean, I think you can do it. You just have to pay taxes on it. Like it's just
No. It had to be like official. You can't like.
Do it. Like you have to. It has to be taxed. Like it's kind of just considered like an underground casino.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, boys. The boys are back in town.
Yes, sir.
Back in town.
It's true.
Man, come on.
Let them know. Let them know.
This was Key of Threes, man. This was such a fun stream, y'all. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I talk Lakers with my Laker folks on my channel, but like talking to the rest of the league is literally therapy to my soul. So I appreciate every single one of y'all. And everybody that was here throughout us. We've been on for about an hour and 30. Hope you guys enjoyed. We got a lot more KOT content coming. Appreciate you, brother.
Wait, hold before
let them know the content schedule. Let them know the content schedule.
Wait, hold on. Question before we end. Gabe, in the beginning of the stream, you said New Orleans would not make the playoffs healthy. I'll take the over. Let's make that bet.
I say 14 seed.
For the playoffs. Zion healthy for the playoffs. I'm taking the over.
Give him the 11th seed. Missed the play-in.
Over on what? Like, just are you asking me?
Hey, all I'm gonna say.
Over under on games.
No. Over. Pelicans will make the playoffs. Zion will be healthy in that.
That's not an over under, bro. That's a raw bet.
Just take the bet. Just take the bet, bro. Just take the bet.
I'm gonna bet that New Orleans is gonna miss the playoffs. Sponsored by FanDuel.
We can say that we don't got that sponsorship yet. FanDuel, if you're trying to reach out,
hashtag no sponsor.
No.
Hit up KFC.
Only thing I want to say though is I know the game has just started, but Jay talking about the Pelicans, what Wemby's gonna do to them tonight, brother. By the end of the weekend, by the end of the weekend, the Pelicans are going to be a campfire story. It'll be that bad, brother.
Hey, now close it out, bro.
All right.
Roast them like the marshmallows.
Let me just give them the content schedule before we get out of here. So you will be getting daily shorts and reels if you want to check out our other social media platforms. Hopefully you can find that in the description. I know we're just now back, so it might be added retroactively. We'll see. But definitely be sure to check us out on socials. You'll get different clips from the stream if you're not able to make it in. But content schedule, it'll be 7 Eastern, Tuesdays and Fridays for the most part. I know we got the community tab if we need to hop in for advance and any changes or anything, especially as we get later in the season. But Tuesday, we'll be back with another full-length stream. Expect some short-form content until then. I know it's a little bit different than the old content grind, but we're in a new era here, so definitely happy to be back. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I think a good stream, good first time back for everybody. If everybody wants to give one sentence, everybody gets 10 seconds before we're out of here. Start with John. Go in a circle. Closing comments.
LeBron James is not in the gambling scandal.
All right,
Russell Westbrook for 6th Man of the Year.
all right.
Jelson, go.
Sure. Okay,
Jelson?
got you. All right. KOT begging for a FanDuel sponsorship sponsored by FanDuel.
All right, Garrett.
Michael Jordan's the GOAT, per usual. No one could gamble like him.
All right. And my quote is not basketball related, but Joe Flacco's still doing it. With that, we've been
Respect.
Key-of-threes.
Respect.
We are back, and we will see you guys on Tuesday for the next stream.
Peace.
Shout out Malcolm Brogdon.